What's up, family? Welcome back to the podcast. Truth About Him podcast, #1 podcast, Men's Health and Wellness. I'm Anthony.
I'm Barron.
Welcome to the show. Welcome back to another week. Welcome back to, I haven't said it in a long time, the happy hour.
Happy hour?
Happy hour, yeah. remember, some episodes back, I called it happy hour.
Happy hour.
How's the week for you?
It's pretty good. Pretty good. I've had clarity this week, and discernment. So, yeah, it's been really good. I've been locked in, so.
Okay.
But, yeah, so it's been a pretty good week, focus and clarity.
Good.
What about you?
It's been a very interesting week. As always, we have hurdles and everything that we hop over and go through. But it's all things that can be managed with good emotional intelligence, right? And
like
not getting emotional about everything, right? Looking at everything from a 30,000-foot view,
Right.
Just jumping in and say, you know what? I'm gonna handle it this way, but it's been a good week. Clarity as well. Things are being put in order, but so it's been good. It's been good. Just the typical human experience stuff. But
Life be life.
we get through it.
Yep.
We
Ain't got no
through it.
choice.
We get through it. So today's a interesting topic that we want to talk about. And it is the murder of Austin Metcalf, the Karmelo Anthony case. That's been really a hot topic, and we decided to weigh in on it, right? And just give our perspectives. And you and I haven't talked about this like at all in depth, right? So
Nope.
It's going to be. So this is straight, organic. We have our notes here to go back and forth. So for those of you that don't know, I want to read a little bit about about the case, and then we can start talking.
Let's get it.
All right. So on April 2nd, 2025, Austin Metcalf, a 17-year-old student at Memorial High School, was murdered by Karmelo Anthony at Centennial High School, student of the same age, while attending a school track meet in Frisco, Texas, United States. Anthony stabbed Metcalf after an altercation, and Metcalf died of his injuries. Anthony was arrested soon after the stabbing and was charged with murder. He pled not guilty of asserting self-defense. On June 9, 2026, Anthony was found guilty of murder at a trial and sentenced to 35 years in prison by the jury. The case was the subject of national public attention, and viral social media posts emphasized that race of the predator, who was black and the victim was white, played a role.
Interesting.
Interesting.
So that is the gist of it. That's what the public knows. Yeah. That's what's out there right now.
Right.
I'm criminal justice guy, spent years in probation. Yeah. So you can't argue facts, right? We can't argue, you can't go over debate facts.
What's the facts?
Today's Thursday.
Yeah.
Can't argue that, right?
Right.
So what you said was actual factual. I did a little research and I dug a little deeper on this case. While it was a track meet, it was raining.
Right.
Karmelo's school did not have tents, whatever.
Right.
So he ran under the bleachers or under the tent at the opposing Metcalf's. Uh-huh. So 2 17-year-old young men. Mm-hmm. We know as 17-year-old, we were 17 before.
Right.
We don't use the best verbiage. We don't speak intellectually or clearly when we dislike something or when we're trying to flex in front of other people. Right. And then you throw the caveat of racism on top of that. We're in Texas. Mm-hmm. It has to be some kind of racism there.
Right.
Mr. Metcalf, now it's all tragic. Two lives are gone. Yeah. 2 families are affected.
Great point right there.
It's tragic. So it's not. I want to pay attention to the facts because a lot of us or a lot of people are speaking on the race, the emotional factor of it all, and they're bringing emotions into it, and they're not looking at the facts.
Right.
So we're just going to kind of speed through this. Karmelo Anthony tries to get coverage from the rain. Metcalf is throwing insults. Get out of here, whatever he said.
Right.
But for the most part, it was get out of here, go find your own, whatever. And there was some physical, like get out of here kind of stuff. Karmelo had a knife in his bag, reached in his bag, stabbed the gentleman, stabbed Metcalf. But we don't know what level did that rise to, how far it went. Yeah. We don't know that. We just know that a young man tried to seek shelter from the rain. Another young man did not want him in there seeking shelter with him or the rest of his team or whatever. So he wanted him removed. So either physically, verbally, who knows? Imagine the language you used at 17.
Yeah.
I know the language I used at 17. So automatically, if you look at that right there, he stabbed him, he died. It sucks. 2 lives again are affected.
Right.
The trial, the case goes to trial, and within 3 hours, the jury found him guilty of murder 1. The defense was saying manslaughter.
Yeah.
Now, I'm all about facts. You cannot argue facts. So if I know the difference between murder 1 and manslaughter. Okay. But for the sake of our audience, we're going to make sure that they are aware of the difference. So the difference between murder is the unlawful killing of a human being committed with deliberate intent or malice afterthought. Manslaughter is the unlawful killing of a person without prior intent, typically resulting from negligence, recklessness, or provoked in the heat of passion.
What he convicted of?
Murder.
He did.
Yes.
So it seems like he did the
manslaughter.
Yeah, so it seems like okay.
Exactly. So by the pure, if we're gonna go with the definition of the law, it seems like it would be manslaughter.
Right.
And
manslaughter carries a lesser sentence.
Manslaughter carries a lesser sentence, and that is what his defense was claiming: manslaughter.
Right.
Now he did run away, because we're gonna put all the facts out there. Yeah. He did run away from the incident. He later turned himself in, claimed self-defense. He stated what happened, what we just spoke about, and he does not deny stabbing Mr. Metcalf.
Right.
But he's saying the reason why he did it was because of XYZ.
Yeah.
Seems like it would be, I don't see how a person could intentionally, you're at a track event, I've been to many track events. You've been to many track events. You don't go to a track event to kill anyone.
Yeah.
It's not, that is intent. That is deliberate intent or malice afterthought. That's murder.
Yeah.
The incident that we just described sounds way more like manslaughter. And for a jury for 3 hours to say, okay, yeah, he absolutely intended to kill this person is negligent in itself, only because legally the law is black and white. It is this or that. They rarely, highly never make room for the psychological or lack thereof cognitive abilities of a person to, for lack of a better word, show how they would try the case. It's either manslaughter or murder 1. And for them to just quickly, just in 3 hours, say, yes, he did it. He was found guilty of unlawful killing of a human being, being deliberate and intentful in killing someone. The evidence doesn't show that. It doesn't show that he went there to kill. He went under there to seek refuge. He went under there to get away from the rain. Now, he wasn't warranted. He wasn't wanted there. In Texas, for whatever reason, Not even gonna go there. We're gonna stick to facts because facts can't be undisputed. You can't dispute facts. So the law has to figure out a better way of judging and regulating. I'm all for law, but there has to be a better mandate because imagine if we're being a buck, I blame both. I blame both because you have two individuals, two young men, two 17-year-old men who were not taught how to de-escalate a situation using emotional intelligence or emotional regulations. Mm-hmm. We know how 17-year-olds speak. Mm-hmm. So we know it was loud. We know it was boastful. We know he was, he had his probably friends around him. So his chest was puffed out. And we teach young men that the best way, you don't let anybody challenge your manhood. You stand up for yourself. You don't, if somebody push you, you knock the hell out of them. Yeah. But before it even gets to that, how about we explain, hey, bro, we don't want you in here for whatever reason. Well, it's raining. I'm going to be here. Why does that have to result to him grabbing his knife out of his bag? Because that's not what he was taught. He was not taught to use emotional intelligence. He was not taught to use, to regulate his emotions. Both were not. Yeah. And now it led to, and I'm sure if we look it up, I'm sure that this was not the only time a 17-year-old got hot-headed, 15, 16-year-old, yeah. And they resulted to violence. And we don't think about this one act of violence has now affected two families. Forever. Yeah. Forever. Now, there are some people that are saying that by the time he gets out, he can still live a life. He can still
like 57, something like that.
He'll be available for parole at 37.
Right.
So
37. Okay.
37. So he'll be available for parole at 37. So a lot of people are saying he still has his whole life ahead of him. Yet Mr. Metcalf's life is gone forever.
Yeah.
I understand that. But there still has to be some type of, according to the law, if we're going with the law, that looked more like manslaughter to me. Yeah. than murder. So,
yeah. Well, thanks for sharing that. It's definitely tragic, and I think it's an important issue because we have to shed light because we have so many other kids that are coming up behind our same age who are experiencing the same thing. And something that you mentioned I was going to touch on is I think it's important that we talk about what happened, but also how we can prevent this from happening again, or how it could have been prevented, right? And the whole tent thing, rain thing, is that kids and adults we live in the disrespect culture, right? For example, I was talking to you briefly about my daughter's boyfriend before we recorded, and he went to go visit. Him and my daughter went to go visit my mom a while back, and they were talking. And he was talking about how he lost his job, at his employer. And he said the reason that he lost it is because when he was on the line, some other guy was talking mess to him. He like, well, let's go outside, right? And then we handle it. It's at work. And my mom said, well, why'd you do that? You lost your job. He's like, oh, you know what? You can't let no man disrespect you. Right, you can't let nobody. You gotta handle that, right? So we live in a culture of disrespect. It's like I'm not gonna let you disrespect me, but that comes with consequences, right? We have to learn how to self-regulate and know that there's consequences to your decisions, and
good or bad.
Or bad.
Yep.
And I think this whole thing with Metcalf and Anthony Karmelo is that they were both feeling disrespected, right? And the emotions got the best of them. But then the question is like, where'd they learn that from?
Exactly.
Right? And I'll say this: a child can come from parents with the best intentions, the best teaching, the best whatever, but they're more influenced by what's out there in the world versus what their parents say, right? They're more influenced by TikTok and Instagram, Facebook, and social media. That this is a cool thing to do. Right, and I'll give you an example. I'm put my son on blast real quick. Is that my daughter, who's 21, her and my son were like messing around, and my son started sucking my dick, right?
Oh, wow.
At 14, and they were joking around, but just those words that came out of his mouth,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Even though he knows how I roll, he knows that that's unacceptable. But the fact that he has the influence from TikTok and all that, he gonna say things, joking or not,
Right.
right? So I know the influence is still there, but at the same time, how do we correct that? So I think I know the emotions got the best of them, right? And especially on both ends. And before this, I didn't really understand, murder, manslaughter. I mean, I know they were different, but I understand the ramifications of like the definitions of it. But it's just like, how do we get our kids to the point where they're not facing 35 years in prison. They're not facing, manslaughter or murder, because once it gets there, it's too late, right? It's
Forever
too late.
changed.
It's forever changed.
Yep.
Let me ask you this. So you mentioned manslaughter, murder, definitions, and based on what the law says, you think it's manslaughter.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So do you think that race played a role in this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Tell me more about that.
Only because of the climate that we're in, the racial climate that we're in. Look where they were. Texas has kind of got a little racially division going on in that state. I've seen it personally. I mean, it could it be racial? Yes. Could it be a multitude of other things too? Yes.
Could not be racial at all.
Two things. What was that?
Could not be racial at all. Could not be like racial at all.
Oh, it could not have been.
Okay.
It could not have been. Here's the why. Because my team is my team. We are under shelter. Right. This is my team. You the ops if you're on the other team. So sometimes we get that way to where it's us against the world. Get out of here. This is for, I forget the name of the school, Memorial. This is us. This is us right here. This ain't your. Go find your own village. Go find your own team. For whatever reason. Could have been part of race? Absolutely. But could it have not been racially motivated? There's a possibility with that because of the team aspect. When it was, I remember running track and we all sat together and it was us against the world.
Right.
Basketball, same thing. It's us against the world. Like I don't sit with the ops.
So is it more discrimination versus race, be the race thing?
Again, I can't say one or the other because I was not there.
Yeah.
I wasn't there, so I can't speak to what it truly was. I can tell you what it may have been.
Hey, Sean, can you crack it a little bit for me? Hey,
Sean.
Crack it a little bit for me. It's kind of hot there. Can you crack it a bit? Be careful that cord.
Watch it,
Just crack it a bit because I'm hot.
Yeah. I have an area. Huh?
Yeah, it is there. Usually ain't that hot. Perfect.
Right there is fine.
All right, keep going.
So yeah, I mean, it could be racially motivated. I'm inclined to believe so.
Yeah.
But I can't say for certain that that's what it was.
Yeah.
All I know for sure of what it was, based on the facts, was that if ego wasn't involved, if that male ego wasn't involved, I believe we would have two young men still
running track,
right? Living their lives. And people think the ego, the male ego, is truly something else. And if you don't cultivate it, and if you don't nourish it, and if you don't know the power of the male ego, the male ego is here, stuck in survival mode. Yeah. The male ego does not want to evolve. The male ego does not want to grow. The male ego does not want to change. It wants to stay with what it knows. It doesn't want to grow. Yeah. So it wants to stay in survival mode. So if that's something that kid, let's just entertain the fact that it was racial. Let's entertain it.
Okay.
He had to learn it from someplace.
Yeah.
Metcalf had to learn it from someplace. And with Karmelo Anthony having his knife on him, I know a lot of kids that keep a knife on them for protection. Yeah. I think Sean had one at one point on him for protection because he was walking home from school. Yeah. So he probably felt threatened and was like, if it's going to be me or you, it's not going to be me. Again, fighting survival mode. If one of us has to go, it's not going to be me.
Yeah.
I have to protect myself.
And that's where a lot of people weigh in because I mean, a lot of like celebrities, podcasters and sports announcers have weighed in on this subject, and there are two questions, one for each of the kids. Is one, why didn't Metcalf go and get a coach or an adult to help, and then two, why didn't Carmelo just leave, right? And then I think that's where the ego and emotions comes. Like, no, I'm gonna stand my ground, and
Yep.
you can stand your ground in different ways, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a guy that I follow on social, and he's always talking about the interactions between us people and the police. Is that a lot of people want to fight the police on sight, right? And then it makes it worse. He's like, no, you comply and fight it in court, right? You fight it where you have the ability to win,
Right.
Because out there, the law stands, and they have more right to do things to you, right or wrong,
Yep.
and they'll be backed up, right or wrong.
Yep.
Then you have and it's like, well, we have to think about that stuff, right? We have to teach our kids that de-escalation is so important, right? And my thought is like looking back, like why didn't he just walk away and leave? Like, why? I mean, we know why. It was the ego, but we wouldn't be here today talking about this case if that happened.
If he would have just walked away.
And it's super sad, and I'm on the fence about if it's racism or if it's not. If he was white, well, would it have happened? How much? I mean, I can't definitively say, what? Yes, it's because he was black.
Right.
The dude stabbed somebody.
Yeah.
Right. Stabbed somebody, and you can talk all you want, but once it gets physical, right, things change.
It's a new level.
And who knows? Maybe the people there were, ganging up on them, surrounding them. Who knows what happened, right? They have some really, really crappy, blurred out camera footage that really doesn't show anything. It shows Carmelo fleeing, but who knows what happened and who knows what he was thinking. He may have genuinely feared for his life. Who knows? But the result is one is dead, one got 35 years, and where were the adults? Now, I've been in track music before. There's 3 coaches to 100 kids. So I get it, right?
Yeah.
I get it. But again, we have to teach our kids that we have to learn. We have to learn de-escalation, because if you don't, somebody's gonna get hurt, right?
And one thing I've always taught my kids, and I've always told other people, that if you don't teach your kids in the house, the world is going to teach them. And the world don't love your kids the way you do. The world don't care about your kids the way you do. Right. So I say that to say, if you never taught a young man how to de-escalate a situation, how to, if you get pulled over, to comply. Right. Because if you're out there, I used to like, man, I can't stand the police. They just this, they just that. They're not right. They're beating people. They're killing people at will. But then I zoomed out. And then when I took criminal justice, I was in this course. I had a course where you had to look at the world from the lens of a police officer. Police officer who has a family, who has kids that goes to school, who has a mother, who may have a father, who has a life. That's just
goes to get home.
Yeah, to get home. Every day he goes out. He's pulling over a vehicle. He doesn't know who's in that vehicle. Right. He doesn't know what's in that vehicle. So he has to approach with caution. Now, just because I approach with caution and I have my hand here and I'm telling you, keep your hands on the steering wheel. Yeah. If you escalate that situation, now as a police officer, I'm looking at the eyes through a police officer. I don't know how this can go. So now my level was on 8 before. Now it's on 10 to 10 squared.
Right.
The thing with that is if you have officers who police an area that they don't live in.
Yeah.
They police areas, you have Compton PD and they stay all the way in Chino Hills.
Right.
They don't know how the city works, how the city moves. So they're heightened. Their elevation of fear is heightened. So all they want to do is get home.
Right.
So when you, as a person that's getting pulled over, and you are, well, I ain't got to show you nothing. I ain't do nothing. That's not the point.
Yeah.
That's not the point. Well, I shouldn't have to show you nothing. You pulled me over for no reason. You racist ass, whoop-de-whoop, blah, blah, blah. So now it done went from a simple stop to now it's escalated. So now I need you to get out the car.
Yeah.
And now if you've done anything, you have anything in the car, now it gets magnified times 10, as opposed to just doing what the officer asks you to do. If it's unfair and it's unjust, like you said, you'll have your day in court. Right. That's how the criminal justice system works. I would tell my son all the time, if you get pulled over, comply. Because the ultimate goal is for you to come home.
Like the cops.
Like the cop. The cop's going to go home. I want you to come home.
Right.
I don't want you to escalate the situation to where now I have to come bail you out, or we got to go to court and stuff like that. I don't like that.
Right.
So
and that's a good outcome.
That's a good outcome.
Right.
That's a great outcome.
Great outcome.
The worst is obviously, he reached for something, and I thought he was reaching for something, so I shot him dead.
Yeah.
That's justifiable.
Find out it was his cone.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That is justifiable to a lot of officers in their law. The thing is, if you fear for your life, you draw and you protect yourself, because your ultimate goal is for you to get back home to your family.
Yeah, and I want to be super clear is that these things with cops just don't happen with our people.
No,
they happen with every race. So, even though our people is the one that the media portrays more, right, as far as having issues, and then I think that adds a lot of like fuel to the fire, because when we're out. It's like you said, the goal is to get home, but there is a lot of times that there's that fight there. That fight is like, I ain't gonna listen to you. Yes, you do. Fight it in court.
Right.
I mean, you can be firm and assertive, because it happened to me a while back. I'm driving down Van Buren and the cops are behind me. I see, okay, these dudes are following me. I make a right turn. They make a right turn.
Turn.
I go straight, and I'm watching them, and I go to the stop sign. He lit me up, right? Cool. Pull over. Oh, sir, you make a full stop at the stop sign. You made like a little brief stop. Cool. Here's my license, registration, insurance. But where you go? Where you going? What are you doing? About this is what I'm doing. I'm going home. Blah blah blah. So I'm like, okay, well, am I getting a ticket? Well, if you let us search your car, we want your ticket. I'm like, you ain't searching my car.
Right.
Like for what?
You have no reason to.
I'm like, wow. I said you ran me. I have no warrants. I'm on parole or probation. I'm one of them good black men, right? I'm a good one, right? You ain't gonna get find nothing on me, right? No alcohol. So I'm like, you know what? Nah, he's like, well, why not? Because I don't want you to. I'm like, you have no reason to.
Right.
Well, this is why we asked. Okay, you asked, and I said no.
Right.
So at that point, I was irritated, right? And then I showed it. I'm like, you know what? This right here, you ain't doing to me, right? Give my license so I can be on my way. So and he did that, but a lot of times that escalates into,
of course,
why are you searching my car? Who are you? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm not doing that. And so what I did, I was like, I got each of their badge numbers, like, and their names. Give me your card. They wrote it down. I'm so and so. He's so and so. And then the next day, I called the police station, right? And even though they didn't do anything wrong, I wanted to be on record that I know that what they asked for was unreasonable, right? Search my car for what, right? So I think that's the best way to handle it, is that if something's wrong, you report it, right? Because you're not. I've known no one to win on an on-site battle with the cops.
No,
unless you're probably going to shoot them.
Right.
Either way, you're not winning.
Right. Exactly.
So, getting back to the case is that Karmelo said it was self-defense, right? And like that was super hard to prove. And again, it's like you just don't know. But for me, I can't say, it was 100% all race, right? I can't say that. So even watching the video of Metcalf's father, social media is showing the clip, the last clip where Metcalf's father is going off, and he says, "Since you guys are making this about race, so will I." Right? Let's call Karmelo the watermelon felon. Right? I'm like, okay. If you just saw that clip, you would be livid. I was livid, right?
I'm livid just hearing about that one. I hadn't heard about that.
Yeah. So, but they just showed that clip, and it's what the media does. They show the bad part. But if you go back and watch the whole 15-minute video, it shows how Austin Metcalf's father was talking about how when Karmelo stabbed and killed Metcalf, Metcalf's dad said, "You know what? This is unfortunate. I don't think it's about race. I forgive Karmelo because these are two young kids who got into an issue. I forgive him." Metcalf's dad went to the vigils, went to the prayer meetings for Karmelo. He says, "You know what? I'm here with you guys. You know, Carmelo's in jail. My son died, but he was kicked out of all of the Karmelo Anthony gatherings, right?" He said, "I was just here to support you guys. I was just here to help pray because, you know, my son was affected as well." But he says the fact that you guys didn't welcome me because you thought it was about race made him upset, right? He's like, now I have no clue what to do because I want to support you guys. You guys are marching for Karmelo, so am I. Y'all are praying for Karmelo, so am I. Even though my son died, even though he killed my son, I'm still here to pray for this man. So he's like, you know what? At this point, now it's about race, right? So that to me, it's like why is that, you think? Why is that you think because like this white man stepped in to help pray for a black man that he wasn't welcomed into the circle?
Well, you said that the father, Metcalf's father, called Karmelo's family the watermelon?
No, called Karmelo a watermelon felon. So basically, he said that I did all of this, right? I prayed with you guys. I showed up. I helped support Karmelo. So since I was kicked out, and now you guys want to make it about race, now I'm going to as well. Now since I'm not welcome, now let's make it about race now. So now, you know, how about this? How about the watermelon felon? Right, which was a term that was coined like years ago. I heard it, so it wasn't his phrase.
Yeah, but he heard it, and he applied it.
Right.
So, and that's not. I bet you that's not the first time he's heard that watermelon felon. Yeah. That's something that he's probably. That is a visceral form of, and when I say visceral, I mean that is a really historical form of racism. Watermelon felon, like, let's just take the felon part out. Watermelon is associated with us since slavery.
Well, my question that I asked is that, so that statement was made after they kicked him out.
It was after. Right. But do you think he just came up with that after they kicked him out?
No, well, it wasn't his phrase, right? So my
give
question,
a shit.
I get it. So my question is, why would this man who lost his son be kicked out of a prayer meeting, a gathering to support Karmelo? Why would the people who, because he says I was there also to support. Why is the mentality that, okay, you know what, you can't be here. You know, it was your son, you can't be here. Why is that mentality like out there? Why do you think they did that?
So I think that first off, he tried not to be racist or not to allow race in the moment. So he tried to, I'll go and support. Right. I'll go and support. But let's just keep it a buck. This is fresh. This is raw. This is, people's emotions are really raw. And people have a right to feel, black or white. They have a right to feel how they want to feel. If they don't want you there, again, this isn't something that was, this is what, a year? This is a year, and this happened last year.
2020,
yeah, 2025. This is still raw because, you know, the trial just ended this year. Yeah. So this is still June of this year, I believe. This is still June raw. 6th, yeah. So the feelings and emotions are high. No, we don't want you here right now. We don't want your support right now. If you want to support us from afar.
Well, why would they not want his support.
Race was involved. Race. They feel that racism was involved, and no, we don't want you here.
Okay.
So that's why. And then so it gave Mr. Metcalf now the permission to say, oh, since we're gonna publicly be racist about it. Okay, I'm gonna do tit for tat. I'm gonna. You are a watermelon felon.
Right.
I don't believe that. This is just me personally. I believe that you asked me a while ago, was racism involved? I believe that it was. Just me personally. I could be wrong.
On which side? The incident side or the conviction side?
On Metcalf's side. I believe racism provoked him leaving, wanted him to be out in the rain, didn't want him to be with him. I believe personally that race was involved. That's me. I could be wrong. But that race mentality or the racist mentality is learned.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
He learned it from somebody. Yeah. And for the father to say, if you guys don't want me here to support, all right, then I'm just going to go back to my natural state that I believed anyway. Now it makes it justifiable because I can be racist because you guys don't want me here, so that's racism. Yeah. It could be. The other side of that could be that emotions are still raw. We don't need to see your face as a constant reminder of why our son is in jail for the rest of his life, for the most part. Right. We don't need to see your face as a reminder of that. If you want to support from afar. But he didn't do that. He went immediately and said, oh, since we're going to do racism shit, okay, we're going to call him a watermelon felon, and I dare you guys to come and bring race into him. Because his justification is this. I didn't start it. I didn't bring race into this. Yeah. They did. Yeah. They brought it in by kicking me out. They brought it in by making me feel unwanted. Yeah. But they kicked you out because your specific face, you being here, does not help them emotionally, physically, spiritually. It doesn't help them. Yeah. So no, we don't want you here. They're well within their right to say that. Yeah. Well within their right. Yeah. But for you to go back to your natural original state and say that watermelon felon, like I would question the hell. What do you mean by that? Where I know you probably didn't come up with it because you're probably not clever enough.
His intent was clear. It's like, now it's about race. Now it's about race. Now it's about race. So now I'm bringing it to the forefront because, and honestly, bro, it's like I can honestly say right now I don't disagree or agree with your position, right? I mean, because it's like people's minds are so fragile, right? Mm-hmm. And I can't fathom losing a child, right? Especially to violence, right? I mean, in any aspect. So we also got to look at both sides, like he lost his child. It's like how can you lose your child to someone and still go support their cause, right? It's like that takes a lot as well. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And if they didn't want him there, that's fine. That's their right. But I know if I lost my child, I want to burn shit down. Yeah, I mean, I'm taking down the whole.
Everything got to go.
Everything got to go. Right.
Yep. Because you want that pain that you're feeling. Right. You want that to be expressed. You want other people to feel that same pain. I get it. Right. And it's not. He's forever changed. He's forever his son. The Anthony family could potentially have their son back in their lives, and maybe later in his years, like 50, 60 something years old. Yeah. That's a possibility. That same possibility does not exist for Mr. Metcalf. So I sympathize and I understand that part. But at the same time, he has to realize that, people have the right to say no.
Of course, 100%.
People have the right to not want you there. Now, what he could have done was, okay, I'll support from afar. Yeah. True. I'll go support from afar. But even if it was racist, even if it was them kicking him out of the vigil was racist, you don't lean into it with more racism.
I'll tell you this, you and me, you are the voice of reason.
Huh?
It's that much between you and I. You are the voice of reason.
I'm the voice of reason.
Yeah, you're the voice of reason. But yeah, so it totally makes sense. And even Metcalf's dad said, you know what, at his parole hearing, I probably will be dead, but I'm gonna record a video, to play at his parole hearing, because he does not want Karmelo to get out of jail. And man, it's just sad that both lives were just tragically impacted. And I'm kind of at a loss for words as to really what to say, because nothing we say is going to change anything. Hopefully, it just tells somebody else that, hey, you know what, this is the example of what could happen. You're not going to be changing that in an instant off of 15 seconds or a minute of emotion, right? Your life is forever changed, and you're to track me thinking that nothing bad is going to happen, right? And
definitely not murder.
Not murder. And what I'm seeing out there is, I'm trying to say this with respect. I would say most people follow what the media says and takes it as law, right? Without doing any research on their own. So, you know what, is this an actual fact? No one fact checks anything these days. No one. I mean, I've been guilty of that, right? I'm like, man, this is going on. But the people who are not fact checking and looking at this as it's only Karmelo got sentenced to this only because he's black. That's it. Yeah. It's only. I don't think that's accurate.
No, I don't.
I think you have to fact check and look at the facts and look at what happened. Sure, race may have played a role.
It's possible.
It's possible.
Yep,
but
it's possible.
Could it not be possible?
It's also a possibility that it did not.
Right?
So
that's why you look at like you said, all the facts and say, you know what? If a white kid would have stabbed a black kid, would he still be in the same scenario but flipped? Would he still be in jail for 35 years? I'm gonna say probably.
That's a great question. Yeah. Only because I thought about that, and I didn't have an answer. Like, if the roles were reversed, and would the sentence be the same? More importantly, would the sentence be the same with the rapidness of a 3-hour deliberation?
Yeah.
It took 12 people 3 hours to decide a person's life.
And even that, the complaint was there was no black people on the jury.
I heard that. But I heard that.
There was none on the jury. But my question is that a jury of your peers,
right?
Is it race or just your economic, your demographic, right? Is it because Karmelo's a minority,
right?
So, but there were minorities on the jury, but no one black.
No one black.
Now, what is your peers? Is it your race, or is it people that are in the same demographic as you? Because demographics are different.
That is the ambiguity and the vagueness of the law.
Yeah.
That is what it is. They don't define. They just say you'll be judged and tried by a jury of your peers. Right. But they don't say what that is. What is peers? Because if I'm a 17-year-old man, right, my peers would be 17-year-old young men. Yeah.
They can't do jury duty.
They can't do it. So, and I'm a black, white, green, or indifferent. Like, there needs to be representation. And I've always believed that you should have representation of every race on a jury.
Yeah.
No matter what the case is. It shouldn't be all one. It shouldn't be majority one. You should have a little bit of everything. Yeah. Male, female, black, white, Hispanic, Asian. Every nationality, every representation of us as a human being needs to be represented there, because that, to me, ensures that that's a jury of your peers. That ensures to me, because if it's majority one or one or the other, you're always going to have that ambiguity, just like we're saying right now. There was no black people on the jury. Would it have been different if it was one? We'll never know. We'll never know. And I applaud his parents, and I'm saying Karmelo Anthony's parents. I applaud his parents for seeking different counsel and appealing because
Yeah, of course
they're not
they
going to
should,
let it.
always.
They should fight for their son, and they're not denying that what happened. They're not saying that he didn't do it.
Yeah.
They're just saying that the sentence was too harsh because the level of sentence for murder one is not the same level of sentence for manslaughter.
But based on what you read, it was
based on the facts. That's why we started, with the facts. Based on the facts, it was two 17-year-old young men full of ego, full of testosterone. They're in a competition. So of course they're, you're geeked up. You're hyped up. There's competition involved. And that led to someone losing their life. That's the facts.
So you're saying, just so I'm clear, you're saying that there should be a consequence for the decision, but you believe that the consequence that was given out didn't fit how the crime was played out.
According to the facts.
According to the facts. Okay.
That's exactly what I'm saying. I'm not saying that he didn't do it.
Yeah.
I'm not just saying that he shouldn't go to jail.
Yeah.
He took a life. That's a fact. He took a life. A life was lost at his hands.
Yeah.
Now, how the law works is, why was that life taken by your hands, Mr. Anthony? Why did that happen? And he's telling you, I felt threatened. I felt unsafe. Well, why did you feel unsafe, Mr. Anthony? Well, I was trying to seek refuge from, and I'm paraphrasing the entire case,
of course.
but I'm trying to seek refuge from the rain, and I seeked it underneath a tent, and someone didn't want me there. And they tried to put me out in the rain, and I was not going anywhere. So they were both trying to stand on business. This is what happens when standing on business goes completely left.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to know when to stand on business. Sometimes you got to know, like, it's just rain, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
to me, it's always standing on business. It's like which route are you going to take, right? Because it's easy to get into argument physically, verbally. It's hard to walk away, and that's why I tell all my kids, like, it's easy. You can fight, easy, but what's that gonna do? Now I'm dusty, you dusty. Somebody got a black eye, somebody elbows are scraped, or worse, somebody's dead. Now what?
Now what? Now what are we doing?
You're still mad.
Still mad.
You're still mad. So this is something I found that was very, very that was hilarious. With the case is that I was reading this screenshot, and someone texts Karmelo Anthony saying, "Hey, you know what? I know this is hard for you. I'm sorry. I hope your family is okay." And Karmelo Anthony responds back saying, says, like, "What are you talking about? It was Karmelo, the basketball player." So it was a joke. It's
crazy.
Like, this is stupid, right? But it's, you want to find a way to make this not happen.
Right.
You want to, but I think as men, as men who are trying to, help other men, because I always thought that it was us that needed the help, our age group, right? That was my initial reasoning for getting into this area, but not knowing it's like, it's the ones that came after us, like the young kids, even 14, 15, 16, 17, right? Those are the ones, because those kids turn into us.
Yep.
And then what they learn at that age is what they will most likely do at
our age.
Our age. So,
and then when they have their kids, they're going to teach them their ways.
Right.
And now we have a whole generation and a generation after a generation just falling apart. Yeah. And that's not what we're here. We are here to stand in the gap. We come from an era where we've seen the worst of the worst in men. And we're at an area now where we want to be better. We want to do better. We want to know better. And we have more access and more accessibility to things to help us do better, and to teach us how to de-escalate, to teach us how to use our emotional intelligence, to teach us how to regulate our emotions in a heated situation. That's something that we had to learn. We had to go. When I was in high school, you know how many basketball games I got kicked out of and couldn't finish games because you attack my ego. You call me something, and you know, I'm like, well,
disrespect me.
Yeah, you ain't gonna disrespect me, and especially you're not gonna disrespect me. And this is the stupid part. You're not gonna disrespect me in front of my friends. You're not gonna disrespect me in front of my girl. You're not gonna disrespect me in front of my school. So I'm gonna stand on business because they're watching. I am responding and reacting to you based on others who are viewing, who are watching me.
I never understood that about men. You know, I've seen so many men say, you know what, like for example, there was this video or this case a while back. I think it was in Chicago that this gentleman was in line to buy some cigarettes, right? Mm-hmm. And there was a female in front of him buying something as well. And he was talking to her, you know, just shooting the shit. Mm-hmm. Like from my understanding, there was no flirting at all, right? She goes back to the car. Her boyfriend pops out and holds her at gunpoint, thinking that he's flirting with his girl. He pops him. Pow, pow, pow. He's dead, right? Oh, am I going to touch my girl? This dude got life, but guess where your girl is now? Guess.
With old boy that was trying to get at her.
No, he's
dead.
He shot him dead.
Oh wow.
But guess where she is?
Where's she at?
Probably with somebody else.
Oh yeah, definitely. That she's not with him. She's not sticking by that.
No,
because that's a level of violence. Like, damn, you tripped like that.
So everything you're trying to avoid, your girlfriend being with somebody else, now you got life, and now more than likely she's in the bed with Pookie or somebody, right? More likely, you know. So that's why I don't understand that mentality. And but again, I don't have to understand it. My goal is to help change it, right? It's like, you know what? Let's give our guys emotional intelligence and emotional regulation to be able to think through high conflict situations, because high conflict situation comes up all the time. Right. You're going to be in high conflict, right? Yep. It's going to happen, but how do you get through it? Like we were talking off camera, it's like right now I have a high conflict situation that I'm dealing with. Mm-hmm. I can respond in two ways, right? But after respond in a way that's going to protect me, my family, my kids, everybody who I'm involved with, right? Mm-hmm. That's what we have to do, is be able to de-escalate and handle things the right way. And you know, sometimes you can't, or sometimes you gotta like act to protect. Mm-hmm. But I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about just pop out of the car because your ego is abused because some dude's talking to your girl, and then you shoot him dead, right? With Metcalf and Anthony, I was not there. Right. I was not there. This is just my opinion on what happened. Right. I could be totally wrong, totally off. I can be the biggest, you know, liar or one side. I don't know. I wasn't there. This is just based off what I've seen, my opinion. But I know that my mission is to continue to help kids, to help men not be in that situation, because to go to jail at 17 years old for 35 years is diabolical, dude. To lose your life.
Pretty much lost your life. You don't, you know, you're not, think about when he does get out. He's not going to know how to assimilate.
Yeah. I'm talking about like both sides. It's like to die at 17 and to go to jail at 17 is both diabolical. It's like, man, that's just like I'm 51 and I can't imagine going to jail at my age, right? It's like, nah, I'm good on that.
It's untapped potential. Like, you don't know what Metcalf would have been, what kind of man he would have been. You don't know what, you know, how he would have lived his life. Same thing with Karmelo. You don't know how he would have lived his life as a young man, as a young 25-year-old man or a 30-year-old man. You don't know how they were. So they were robbed of that. Families were robbed of that. So when he gets out, think about this. When he gets out, how is he going to assimilate back into the world?
Tough.
Who's
going to be there for him?
Who's going to be there for him? Would he... The recidivism rate in California, I believe, is like 60%.
Is it really?
It's high. It's high.
Damn.
It's about. Yeah, I want to say it's about that. So that means, imagine if he gets out, he doesn't know nothing else. He doesn't know anything. He hasn't regulated emotionally while he was, you know, in jail. He doesn't know how to use emotional intelligence while he's in jail. He's just getting older in jail.
Damn, that's crazy.
That's facts.
That's crazy.
He's just getting older in jail. And when he gets out, it's highly likely he could go back just because of assimilation. He doesn't know how to assimilate back into the world. Who knows what the world is going to be like 37 years from now?
Crazy.
You know, so who knows? So he's affected forever. Now Metcalf is gone forever. He's not going to be ever come back, and it's tragic. But
do you think there's one is harsher than the other?
No, I think they're both tragic. I think they're both equally tragic. If we were splitting hairs, I would say at some point, Karmelo Anthony's family will have him back.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you know, a lot can happen behind those bars. Yeah. A lot can happen.
True.
You know, he could not, but we know for a fact that Mr. Metcalf will never be able to hug his son again. We know that for a fact. You know, Karmelo Anthony, there's a possibility that they could hug their son again.
Yeah.
So if we're splitting hairs, that's the only difference. Does it make it right or wrong? It's still equally tragic. You know, they are forever changed without their son in their lives for the crucial part of their lives.
Yeah.
You know?
And for me, this is just a conversation because, you know, I can't say, you know, that I'm picking sides.
No.
You know? I mean, it's just a conversation you just open up because, again, I can't pick sides on something that I was not a witness to.
Right.
I can't and I won't. It doesn't matter if, you know, my skin color, my background. I was not there.
Right.
You know, I'm going off what you guys are telling me. Right. This is your history. This is his story. Right. I wasn't there. So, you know, that may sound whatever, but that's just what it is. Is everything is hearsay, and like the cameras there were super blurred out. You couldn't see anything, so I wasn't there. So I'm not going to pick sides. I will pick the side of tragic, right? It was tragic and I pray for both families that each family, you know, they find peace and refuge because it's tough for both. I mean, it's beyond tough, right? I mean, I can't imagine what they're experiencing, you know. So that's what I'll say about, but also know that we have to be the ones that, you know, that reach back and like talk to the kids and like teach our sons and our daughters about we keep saying it, de-escalation.
Right.
Because that's what's going to prevent any of this from happening ever again is de-escalations. Teach your kids de-escalation. Teach your kids that the ego is not important. You don't live your life based off of ego, off of emotion.
Right.
Because, you know, I think it was Nas that said, you know, he had a verse in one of his rap. He says, you tell my people how to live off emotion. Mm-hmm. Right. And that's what we do. We live off straight emotion, and it gets us locked up or in jail, and that's just sad.
Yep, because we never zoom out. We don't teach our kids how to zoom out from a situation, you know. And de-escalation is great. Only thing we could say for a fact is if they had learned the power of de-escalation, they both would be here.
Did you teach Sean that?
De-escalation?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay,
absolutely. That's why he's easy kill because, you know, it's like it takes a lot to get us revved up. Now, once we're there, you're there, but it takes a lot to get you there. And as long as I can move like that, I'm fine with that. If like I know certain things will set me off. Yeah. I know what they are. But have they ever happened? Yeah. No. Have I learned to de-escalate? Yes. There were times where I was in college one time, really quick. I was in college one time and I was late for class and I was getting gas and somebody jumped in my spot where I was about to get gas from. Some young kids. I was in college. They were about maybe 16, 17. And we got into an altercation at the gas station. I didn't care at that time. I didn't care about getting lost. So we got into an altercation. I realized at that moment what I was doing was wrong in a sense. Yeah. So I let go. Mm-hmm. And I got in my car, went to another gas station and got gas. I was late for class. Yeah. But at that time, I wasn't thinking about any of that. I never zoomed out of my circumstances. But it's when you zoom out, when you think about if I hurt this individual, I don't only affect him. Right. That is somebody's son. That is somebody's brother. That is somebody's, it could be somebody's father.
She's just somebody.
He's somebody, you know? And that's how I operate now. So I don't get in a conflict because I don't want to affect an entire family in a negative way.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm about. So I zoom out of the situation, and it'd be great if we can talk about it. Now, if we can't talk about it, guess what? Then we can't talk about it. I'm out.
Yeah, we're done.
I can leave.
I feel that.
I'm not going to argue with you because you quote Nas, I'm going to quote Jay-Z. Never argue with a fool because from far away, you can't tell who the fool is.
I love that one.
You know? So
I love that.
I don't entertain. It's certain stuff I won't entertain because I'm not going to drop my level down. Yeah. So it's important that we be the change that we want. Yeah. If de-escalation could have stopped it at a young age, then we need to start teaching de-escalation to our kids and not letting them, their ego get the best of them.
That's something we got to talk about offline, like at Crate Nav. But yeah, so complete. Another good one, bro.
Yep.
All right, so guys, thank you for watching the podcast.
Absolutely.
And I think this was an important topic to talk about to get perspective. And please, weigh in. Give us your comments. Let us know what you think about the case or think about what we said. We're very, very intrigued. But as always, someone you need that knows you needs this podcast to listen. So please please share, please subscribe. We'll see you guys next week. Have a good week. Peace.